have two of them. I got another one. He's passed out under there. I was hoping he'd be awake. It's Dylan, my other son. But, that's what happens if you think that just because you had one kid that if you don't put her back on the pill right away that the second kid will be avoided. So that's the other lesson for you. That's if you're really dumb. So, yeah, that's right. You're an accident. You're an accident. Huh? Yeah. So anyway, all right, guys. So I have my family in town just for like another 2 hours, actually. So I have I basically have 3 different segments I'm going to do this week. I thought I would cover a little bit of introduction of how I think you can get the most out of the summit, and then I would talk about some self-development stuff. This way my children and girlfriend are not offended by the disgusting things I'm going to tell you later. Then, you guys are like, do I laugh at that? And then I'm going to talk about society and stuff like that for one segment. And then I'm going to talk about not how to raise kids, because for that you just get a girl to do it. But basically the pickup stuff, okay? So I'll go into that in detail. All right? Okay, one second. Whoop. Okay, buddy. All right, so what we're going to start off with today, I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about self-development. We'll see how long he can handle it up here. He's like the best crowd ever. He just laughs at everything I say, I guess. I could see him being a public speaker someday because he watches all my videos at home and then he gets up on like boards and he starts talking to crowds and stuff like this. He does it constantly. So it'll be pretty interesting. Yeah. So anyway, okay, so I'm going to talk to you guys about self-development today. Now, one of the reasons why I was fascinated with the topic of self-development originally was that I taught boot camps for a number of years, okay? I really busted my ass, all right? So you guys can imagine when you, when you get into teaching guys pickup, imagine that you work your ass off with a student the whole weekend, okay? Like you really put your fucking heart and soul into it. And you see him really kind of starting to get his shit together. And then you see him a few months later, and he's back to being the sad, pathetic sack of shit that he originally was. And it's got to be the most frustrating thing you've ever seen. I remember we used to actually do like wardrobe stuff in our original boot camps back in like 2003. And I'd actually bring the guys out onto Melrose, help them find like shoes, jeans, shirt, and all that kind of stuff. And like they'd be looking fly, they'd be going out, making out with different girls and stuff. And you'd see them out a few months later, they've got like the same jeans that you got them, but their same old shitty shirt. It's like the bastardized versions of like the clothes that you helped them find. And they're kind of just like slumming around like back in that same mode. And you're like, motherfucker, dude, we fixed this. We fixed this. What is going on here? And they're like, oh yeah, it's been tough, this is boot camp, didn't know what to do, all that kind of shit. So I never really had a problem with that personally. I always was a highly motivated individual. I never really understood why people didn't want the best for themselves. Super weird to me. Super, super, super duper weird. Okay, super weird to him too, right? He's laughing at fools who don't want the best for themselves. Who here likes to lift weights? Who in here lifts weights? Put your hands up. Okay. Well, what does weightlifting do? How does weightlifting improve your body?
Breaking down the muscles.
Yeah, you're basically putting evolutionary pressure on yourself. What I think is the hardest challenge of being a human being is that we're basically designed to be put into an environment that's very harsh, and that's supposed to motivate us to do stuff. Do you guys kind of get that? You're meant to be put into an environment that's harsh, and the harsh environment makes you do stuff. But the problem is now, if you don't do stuff for a long period of time, what's the consequences of that, really? Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. But that's the fucking hardest shit because you don't have that pressure put on you, and then you just become like this for a long time, and you get super duper unfocused, and then by the time that you need to be focused, you don't have the habits built up. You don't have that track record of habits built up, and you're fucked, okay? People always think that they could do this or they could do that. But I call that the difference between would and could. They think they can do this, they think they can do that. They can't. They can't do it because they don't have the track record of little habits built up. Human brain can take on like 2 or 3 new habits at a time. That's it. That is it. Try taking on more than 1 or 2 habits at a time. When I went back to LA, was it really that bad? oh no, I had to go back to Los Angeles and approach girls again. Some shit that I used to do. Poor me, wah, wah, wah. When you listen to it from that perspective, it doesn't sound that bad, but it actually was bad. It was actually really fucking hard because I didn't have the little habits built up. That's why I say it's hard to approach a 10. You guys, you could approach the 10 tonight. You could, but if you don't have that track record of having forced yourself to do it and that prefrontal cortex activity that's strengthened, you probably just won't. It's not that you couldn't, you just won't. You just won't do it. So what you could do and what you would do are two very different things. I have this fucking talk with my instructors all the goddamn time. A lot of time my instructor's like, why am I not like a celebrity? I'm like, you could be, but where's your work ethic? You know, where's it at, homie? Where's it at, homie? Where's it at? You know? Because they just don't have it, right? That's the thing. It's like, yeah, you could do this, you could do that, but would you? People talk and talk and talk. They could do this, they could do that. It doesn't happen. It's just a lot of fucking talk. Because the truth is, look, even humanity itself, is it really that hard not to have a third world? Stop and think about that. Is it really that hard? Like, that we could just eradicate poverty? And yet, will we ever eradicate poverty? That shit's never gonna fucking happen probably, not to be pessimistic. Not without probably like some kind of like genetic engineering or something like that. There's always gonna be fucking poverty. Probably most of the world will just be poor most of the time. It just is what it is. Why can't we get out of it? It's the difference between would and could. And by the way, I'm sickened by that. I would really love to change that. That's why I talk about it. But the point being is like, it's the difference between would and could. Yeah, people could do this, they could do that, but would they? They just don't fucking do it because they don't have the track record. It's like, look, some kid grows up in America in the inner city, right? That kid grows up in the inner city. He still lives in America. He could do amazing shit. There's other people from the inner city that will do amazing shit, but most of them won't. Why? Throw some reasons why most of them won't. Throw it out at me. I want to get you guys engaged a bit here. Culture. What else? Education. Lack of education. What else? Lack of emotional leverage. What else? Surrounded by negativity. Surrounded by negativity. What else? Environment. Expectations. Yeah. They just expect to be like that. It's like, why do most girls, like white trash girls, not get an abortion when they get knocked up when they're 15, whereas the rich girl does? Because she's like, well, whatever, my fucking mom got pregnant when she's 15, fuck it, you know? I'm not even advocating to get an abortion, I'm just making the point, though, of why they don't do it. So, you guys think that's funny? Yeah, so.
They just tell me about some girl who just didn't know what an abortion was.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet, okay.
She lives here in Vegas, she's 21, she's a 6-year-old kid.
Sweet, okay, so look. They won't do it it's like they could do it, but they just won't, right? Every one of you guys in here knows what you could do, but will you? That's the big question. Will you do it? Think in your mind of all the things that you could do with your life, all these possibilities, but the question is, will you do it? And that's the big difference, right? So, yeah, you have to put evolutionary pressure on yourself. You have to think of it like you are taking the evolutionary pressure and you're putting it on yourself. You are going to make yourself a little bit uncomfortable every day. Now, see, here's the key. You don't want to make yourself so uncomfortable that you freak out. I don't actually think that what I went through had to happen, okay? The things that I've gone through that I described to you, I don't think that had to happen. I think there's lots of successful people where shit like that did not happen to, and that you don't have to go through that. But the point is that for something similar to happen, see, for me, it was forced on me. But if you're smart, you could just put pressure onto yourself, okay? You can put the pressure onto yourself and make it happen like that. So you want to think of it like the most fucked up thing about human nature is that we don't do more than we have to. We just don't do more than we have to. So you have to put that pressure on yourself. The good side of it is that if you do put that pressure on yourself, since most people don't, you can rise to the top pretty easily. You had a quick question?
Yeah, what are some good examples to put pressure on yourself?
One is going to the gym every day. Another is pushing yourself professionally. Another is pushing yourself with girls.
Traveling.
What's that?
Traveling.
Put pressure on yourself to see new things.
Throw yourself out there, someplace you don't know.
Yeah, put yourself out there. Throw yourself out there. Any of you guys see that video of the hike that I did? Yeah, it's vicious. It's fucking vicious. But it's good. It's psychologically healthy to do shit like that. So, yeah, you have to do that. You have to make the choice to do that if you want to be anything. Human being is basically what you have as like form, right? Think of it like a thing of water, okay? Say that the water is just kind of dumping all over the place. To take shape, it needs to be contained in some way. Do you guys see that? It needs to be shaped. It needs to be formed. And it's on you to do that, all right? Every time that you put bad food or anything unhealthy into your body, are you getting tighter or looser as a person? You're getting looser because everything is a cycle, right? If you put bad food in your body, what are some of the cycles that creates?
Tired.
Makes you tired. What else? Throw it out at me. What are some cycles it creates if you put bad food in your body? What's that?
Gain weight.
You gain fat. What does that cause?
Guilty.
When you get fat, it actually creates a cycle where it pumps estrogen into your body. When it pumps estrogen into your body, it makes you just get more fat because you're less likely to work out, which pumps more estrogen into your body. And you basically just become a fat fuck like what happened to me. Okay? What else do you think it does to your brain chemistry when you eat bad food? What do you think it does to autopilot versus PFC activity?
It like screws up the way your brain works when you're actually eating food, so it makes you crave like crappy stuff because it oversaturates your reward system.
Yeah, it basically, not only does it make you addicted on bad food, but it actually makes so your brain doesn't function properly. It puts you more in autopilot, or more in autopilot than PFC activity, okay? It's a cycle, okay? The other one, reading. It scares me that most people don't read a lot. You have to read. Why do you guys think that you must read? What do you guys think is the most important thing about reading?
Learning.
Learning is good. What else?
New ideas.
New ideas? Yeah. Let me tell you what do you think?
Yes, you actually absorb the life experience of some other person.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you what I think is the single most important thing of reading out of all this shit, okay? When somebody writes a book, not only are they giving the distilled version of all their best knowledge, they themselves are putting themselves into that mental frequency of higher consciousness, basically. They're putting themselves in that, what is higher consciousness? It's basically like you're positive and you have a good, even-keeled, detached perspective. Do you guys know what I mean by a detached perspective? Not like, poor me. Oh, I have approach anxiety. Oh, I'm so scared. Oh, I want the good tasting little taste on my lips. Wah, wah, wah. Like all that kind of shit, okay? It's like, it's a detached perspective that's very even-keeled. Higher consciousness is where you feel good either way. A book like, say, Losing My Virginity by Richard Branson is great because he's like, look, I'm fucking 60. You know, I'm an old dude. I don't give a fuck anymore. Here's just the general shit that I learned. So you're getting re-anchored into the bigger picture. What I do is about once a week, I go down to Barnes & Noble at the Grove, and I'll sit there for about 6 hours, and I just grab every fucking book off the shelf that piques my interest, and I just start scanning through them. And my brain is like pumped full of new ideas. And it's very inspiring because when you're reading, say, books on health and fitness, when you're reading books on mental health, when you're reading books on business, when you're reading books on game, when you're reading books on different things that are possible, all those little things that annoy you fall to the wayside. You're like, I don't care about that shit. I care about this shit. This is the shit that I like. This is the shit that gives me a fucking hard on. I don't care about this other fucking bull. I don't care what someone said about me. I don't care what any of this bullshit is. I want to do this awesome shit. I want to live this mental movie. This is awesome. I want to make this contribution. I want my life to represent this type of shit. And it puts you back on track. That's why you got to read. You got to read to be put in that frequency. If you're not put in that frequency, you have all this bullshit influence around you and you get dragged down back into the shit, okay? You get dragged down back in the shit. So you got to keep pumping your head full of those ideas. Reading makes you tighter, okay? It tightens you up. If you don't like to read, audiobooks is not cheating, by the way. People always say to me, they're like, I zone out when I read. Can I do audiobooks? Yes! Just because it's not boring doesn't mean you're not getting the same shit in your head, okay? Audiobook, video, reading, whatever, okay? If you're visual or auditory or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just get it in there, okay? You got to read. You got to eat healthy. You got to put things in your body that are triggering a chain reaction where you're going up and up and up, yeah?
Do you have any techniques to not zoning out when you're reading?
The more that you do it, the more you can absorb. When I first started reading again, I was a soft-ass bitch. So when I'd read, I'd be like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I think I'm going to take a nap. It's like the middle of the day. I'm not tired. You know what I'm saying? And then I read Atlas Shrugged, and that completely changed it. Because that book is huge. It's like a brick. Once you read that fucking brick, you could read anything. You're like, if I read that shit, I could read anything. I read The Fountainhead right after. And if you can read The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, Jesus Christ. So, I did that. So that's a great thing to do, okay? But yeah, things like meditation. What effect does that have? It forces you, when your thoughts, again, let's go back to this analogy. When your thoughts are like this, like that, meditation makes you go, like that. It forces you to control your brain. So it tightens you up, okay? It tightens you up. So if you look at me, if you look at the way that I live my day-to-day life, what I'm basically doing is I'm always trying to tighten up. I'm trying to get it so that my brain is more easily capable of producing positive emotions and being even-keeled. I'm basically always in a pretty good mood and even-keeled. I'm looking to make it where my game is better with girls, so I'm getting hotter and hotter girls. I'm trying to make it where professionally, I'm more effective professionally all the time. Just better at executing. I'm trying to get it where I can read books for a longer period of time because I'm used to researching and studying. I'm constantly trying to challenge myself to step up a little more and a little more and a little more. And I'm just challenging myself on that to tighten up. I'm challenging my body. I'm always in the gym just lifting a little bit more weight. I never worried about getting super big because I travel all the time. I don't have to pound a million protein shakes. But I'm always getting a little bit stronger in the gym. My cardio is always getting a little bit better. I'm always putting a little bit better food into my body, improving the food a little bit so that my brain chemistry is like up like this. I'm getting a little bit better at meditation all the time. The women that I'm pulling are always a little bit hotter. My game's getting a little bit better. My public speaking is always improving a little bit at a time. And my professional responsibilities, I'm getting a little bit more effective with it all the time. And I'm just tightening up. But what you notice is that because of all this shit, I'm always in a bit better mood. So every year my mood improves a little bit because I'm not living in that fake bullshit reality of burying my head in the sand and just like fucking partying and thinking that that's like the path to happiness because I've seen too many people that just party and where it winds up. I party like a fucking rock star. Any of you guys been on boot camp with me? How much do I fucking party? It's awesome. I'm out there, I've got fucking girls on me, banging different girls, laughing my ass off, all this shit. I party like a fucking rock star, but I stay sober. Do you guys see that? I have more fun sober than most people have getting wasted. Why? Because I train my mind through repetition to self-generate positive emotions. So I can make myself laugh. I can make myself be unstifled. I can make myself be uninhibited. I don't need to get wasted to be uninhibited. I don't need to be wasted to laugh. I don't need to like take Adderall to focus. You guys see what I'm saying here? It's all sustainable. Everything that I do is sustainable and builds upon itself. What is the problem with something like, say, Adderall? It's not sustainable. You can't take a fucking stimulant your whole life. Do you guys see that? You can't do that your whole life. Motherfuckers like, fucking A, I can. I love Adderall. It's fun to joke about, but you actually can't. On the flip side, if you take, say, green vegetable juice and omega-3s and you eat clean, you do meditation, you get the same effect as Adderall, but it's sustainable and it's less manic. It's like the even-keeled version of Adderall and it's sustainable. So you gotta do what's sustainable. I'm 33 right now. I can fuck for hours. I get a girl in bed, that girl's fucking hair is gonna be blown back like Bride of Frankenstein. I could fuck that girl. I could pull a girl home at 2 a.m. I could be fucking her till 8 a.m. with like little breaks in between, obviously. Most dudes to do that, they take fucking Viagra and Cialis and shit. Why don't I need to do that? Because I eat healthy, I don't drink alcohol, I fucking go to the gym, and psychologically, because I'm present to the moment from meditation, I look at some fucking hot chick and I'm like, oh my God, and I just get horny again and again. So, and I love to fuck, right? And my cardio is fucking awesome from all the hikes of Runyon Canyon. So all those hikes of Runyon Canyon add up to that girl's hair being blown back by the end of the night. Quick question, yeah?
Do you drink coffee?
No, I do a little bit of like low caf tea. I've heard coffee has antioxidants in it. I don't know what to think of it. But the point being is that it's sustainable, right? You can't be taking fucking penis pills the rest of your life. Because you're putting some weird pharmaceutical into your body. You guys see that? You got to think about what's sustainable. What is sustainable is putting evolutionary pressure onto yourself at a steady rate every day. And you want to know something? It fucking sucks that we have to go get our teeth cleaned at the dentist once a year, and that we can't just have good teeth without that. And it sucks that we have to monitor our diet to stay fit. And it sucks that we have to work hard to produce results. All that just fucking sucks. Why couldn't it be that, like, you know, you could just be kind of like born and you just kind of like have the money given to you and the girls given to you and like all this shit, and you don't have to do any of this shit. Maybe someday in the future, this is not even inconceivable. We could have a future where with genetic engineering, you're just jacked. You're just fucking jacked. And weird aberrations like gingers can be weeded out, okay? So no one will ever have to go through this again, okay? And, you know, and everyone will have a beard like Neil's at the back. You guys see that? Everyone will have that beard and it will be awesome, okay? I had that beard for a while and I can tell you it was awesome. And like everyone will just be given money so that they're given money so that they can focus on the pursuits that they want to focus on. And maybe their brains will be genetically engineered where even if they don't have all these harsh things happen to them or have to focus, that they could still focus anyway and not become spoiled little diva retards even without bad things happening to them because their brain will be genetically engineered to do that. And maybe that will happen someday. But that's not you, and it didn't happen yet. So until that is you, you have the other fate, which is you're going to have to hustle. That's your fate. That's just how it is, okay? That's how it is. You're going to have to actually apply yourself and challenge yourself. That's how it is, because we're not genetically engineered yet. And we don't have a utopian society yet where shit's just given to you. And if you don't focus, you're going to be a broke little fucking loser in the dirt and you're going to eat shit, okay? And you want to know something? That's how God fucking intended, and I'm glad all you fuckers eat shit if you don't hustle. Really. And I want every motherfucker that doesn't hustle to eat a piece of shit. Because seriously, that's what you should do. And when I haven't hustled, I ate big pieces of shit, okay? And I sat there on my fucking knees eating this shit just like every other motherfucker that doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, you have to produce results. There is no excuse for not producing results. Your mommy will give you a little pat on the head and go, you tried your best, little fucking kid. Good for you, I love you anyway. But you're a grown man, so you have to produce results, and there's no excuse. Vincent. Damn, it's starting to kill me. Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye. The hair on him looks so ridiculous right now, by the way. Vincent. Yay! Yeah. So much just want to do a high five. Vincent, give me the high five. High five. Yeah, Vincent, high five. Yeah, Vincent, high five. Yeah, Vincent. Vincent. Huh? Yeah. Say, Dylan, do you know how to do high five? Do you know how to do high five? No, he doesn't know yet. Yay! The job of the parent is to pump the child's state for hours. It's like being a boot camp instructor.